Hi everyone, my name is Morgan and this is Lovely Reading. So today I am super excited to be telling you all what my favorite Bingeable series are. So I have 8 different series to share with you all today. This video is actually a collab and this was at the suggestion of Beccie from Bex Reads. She's brought together a bunch of creators to go ahead and share what our favorite bingeable book series are. So I'll be sharing with you what mine are today. So like I said, I have a total of 8 series to share with you today. A majority of these series are going to be adult romance, but I do have a YA sci-fi also in there, so we'll go ahead and start with that. So to start off with, I'm going to be talking about the pretty well-known Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. This is a well-known and beloved series in the YA space. I even have a friend who has a dedicated podcast to this series and the author. So I know there's quite a big fandom for these books, but if you haven't heard of them before, here's your sign to go ahead and pick them up. So the series is currently complete. There is a total of 4 books, 1 novella, 1 short story collection, and 2 graphic novels in total in the series. The first book in the series is called Cinder, and my favorite book of the series is Cress. Now, the series follows our main character Cinder, but with each book we get new characters and new point of view, and each book kind of has a focus on the new character and whoever is the title character for that book. So these are actually fairy tale retellings, which Cinder is a retelling of Cinderella, and then we have Scarlet, which is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. Cress is Rapunzel, and then Winter is Snow White. So there's a fantastic group of characters. It's very found family. There is romance that goes on between different characters, and there's a lot of action and a lot of adventure, and you'll read one book and you just want to dive into the next book. I highly recommend the audiobooks for this series. The whole series is narrated by the same narrator, which is fantastic because they basically keep the same voices all the same throughout the series, so you're not having to play catch up with who is this character. It's pretty clear through each book who the characters are. And again, it's just a really wonderful series. I highly recommend. And a plug for my friend's podcast, that is the Kai Fanpod. I will go ahead and tag her in the description, so please definitely go check her out if you've already read the series or if you're interested in checking it out. So that was the one YA title that I had on this list. The remainder of the list is going to be adult romance books, and now these are all technically series, but each book in these series could be read as a standalone, or essentially they cover an individual couple. So each book in the following series that I talk about are going to be focusing on a different couple. So first, let's go ahead and talk about the Steel Bones MC series. This is a series by Kate C. Wells. There are about 10-ish or so books in the series so far. The first book in the series is Charge. There's also 2 connected series. One is called the Underboss Insurrection series, which is Mafia. There's also the Stonecut County series, which is going to be a small town series. And my favorite book of the series is 40. So in this series you have, again, like I said, this is going to be a lot of different couples. The first book is actually going to be an age gap with a single mom, and Charge is pretty much just known for his pretty face. And then we have our single mom who is trying to do everything she can to take care of her kids, or take care of her son, and they interact because she happens to move across the street from his dad, and the story kind of goes from there. If you do not like misogyny, or if you do not like men basically like calling women names and that kind of stuff, I would probably avoid this series. I would probably suggest avoiding motorcycle romances in general. Um, I highly enjoyed this series. I mean, I literally flew through these books. Like, I couldn't get enough of them. Um, and then again, like the two connected series, I've read all of those. So like, I am just like patiently waiting for the next book in the series, which is going to be Harper, which is the sister of one of the characters. If I didn't already say, my favorite book in this series is actually 40, which is one of the last books in the series. And I just really love that one is a second chance. They were high school sweethearts. They've been separated for quite a few years, and they are reunited. And I love them getting back together. It was really beautiful to watch. So the next series that I have to talk about is called The Family. This series is by Katrina Jackson. It is currently complete. There's a total of 3 books in the series and 3 novellas. The first book in the series is a novella that is called Beautiful and Dirty. This is a series of interracial romances between 3 Black women, 2 sisters and their cousin, along with 3 Italian men. So this actually takes place in Italy. One of the sisters and the cousin have gone to look for the sister that is missing in Italy, and are trying to bring her back. So they get involved with this mafia family, and it goes from there. So this is very insta-love. There is angst when it comes to like running from other mafias or running from like people who are out to get them. So there is a lot of that, but really it's a lot of character development between the couples, and just the couples being obsessed with each other. They are just absolutely obsessed with each other, and it was so delicious. It was just so good. And like I just had to I had to know what was going to happen in the next book. I had to know what was going to happen in the next book. I do have a content warning for cheating that takes place in the first novella of the series. She then like breaks up with her boyfriend right after the novella, but do be aware that that does take place in the first novella. And then my favorite book of the series is The Enforcer. This one is with the sister, one of the sisters, and her Italian her Italian mafia guy. They have to go hide with his family. They pretend to be fake dating. He is more of a submissive. She is more of a dominant, and she likes to be an exhibitionist. It is just so good. Seriously, pick up this series. It's so good. So the next series that I have is the Them Boys series. This is a series by Alexandria House. This is a complete series. It's a set of 3 novellas. Each book is Black love. The 3 male characters are a set of brothers. And then this is just each of their love stories. The first book in the series is Set, which is actually a couple that went to high school together, but they never really had anything to do with each other in high school. But at their like 20-year high school reunion, they meet, and it goes from there, and they are hooking up every couple months. And like then they both decide, okay, I'm ready for this to become a relationship, and it's so good. My favorite book of the series is Shoe. Shoe is a age gap romance where our female main character, I want to say she's in her early 20s and he's like late 30s, early 40s. So do be aware of that. But she really is into him the first time she sees him. He is really into her. And they're obsessed with each other, and I love it. You'll catch a theme with books that I enjoy, or characters who are obsessed with each other. So the next series that I have, this is going to be a complete left from the other series that we've talked about. This is actually going to be a historical romance series, and this will be The Wilds of Lindau Castle. This is a series by Eloisa James. As far as I know, the series is currently complete. There is 2 sets of 3 books, so you have the 3 brothers and then 3 of the sisters, and then there's 2 novellas. So I believe there's more characters that she could come back with potentially to make to add on to the series, but as far as I know, it is currently completed. The first book in the series is called Wild in Love. This series follows a Duke's family, so all of his children are the main characters and their love interests. So the first book in the series, our main character Alric is an adventurer, and he likes to travel. He's not the oldest son, so he doesn't have to be the Duke, or he's not the heir to be the Duke, so he gets to do basically whatever he wants. And he's an adventurer. He writes his own books, and then he comes back home for a house party for his brother's engagement, and there he meets the love of his life. In actuality, this is my least favorite book of the entire series. Like, I don't even reread it when I reread the series. I read the other books. So if you wanted to start with the second book in the series, you could even start there. The second book of the series is one of my favorites. That one is a second chance romance. And then my all-time favorite book of the series is going to be Say Yes to the Duke, which I believe is the 4th book in the series. And in that one, we have characters who have a meet ugly, and she basically tells him to his face that he's mean and she doesn't want anything to do with him. And from that point on, he's like, oh, I'm going to marry her. And it's so cute. They end up going from like enemies to friends to married to lovers. Like, it's so cute. I really love that one. And there's a cupboard scene that happens in the book. Like, Eloisa, oh my gosh. So I highly recommend reading the series. Again, the audiobooks for these ones are great. I love the narration. I read these ones back to back. So I thoroughly enjoyed these ones and highly recommend the series to others. The next series that I have to talk about is another pretty popular series. This is the Stay a Spell series. This is a series by Juliet Cross. The series is currently ongoing. We are in the process of waiting for the release of the 6th and final book in the series. There is a total of 6 books in the series and 1 Christmas short story collection. The first book in the series is Wolf Gone Wild. This is a relationship between a witch and a werewolf, because this is a paranormal romance series. So the whole series follows a group of 6 sisters and all of their relationships with other paranormals. So we have werewolves, we have Grimms, and we have vampires, who are the male protagonists in these series. Of the series so far, my favorite book is Wolf Gone Wild, but I am anticipating the last book in the series to, if not be a second favorite, to surpass this one as my actual favorite of the series. So I'm super excited about that one. The next series is very similar in vibes, but it's a lot more adventure-y, I would say. This series is the Immortals After Dark series by Kresley Cole. It's a very, very popular paranormal series. It is currently ongoing with 17 plus books and novellas. This series, it's pretty old. Like, it started in the early 2000s, so do be aware of that when you're going into it. And the first book in the series, the first full book in the series, is called A Hunger Like No Other, but I actually never recommend that people start with that book. I normally recommend that they either start with the second book, which is No Rest for the Wicked, or the 4th book, which is Dark Needs at Night's Edge. So both of those, or the Hunger Like No Other is a werewolf and a Valkyrie. The No Rest for the Wicked is a vampire and a Valkyrie. And Dark Needs at Night's Edge is a vampire and a ghost. So if any of those interest you, again, like I said, I would just not start off with A Hunger Like No Other. You can definitely go back to it once you've gotten into the series. But he basically like kidnaps her and is just not very nice to her for a lot of the book. So it's kind of hard to get through, and especially if you're wanting to get into a series, it's very hard, I feel like, to start with that point. The book that I started with was Dark Needs at Night's Edge, which is why I normally recommend others to start with that one. Now, this is, again, it's a paranormal romance series. These ones are based in New Orleans, but they really travel all over the world. You have a lot of different supernatural creatures, and they basically have their own worlds and exist on our world. There's a huge overarching plot, and if you have the like space or brain capacity to get invested, I highly recommend it. But it is really it is an investment, not only like picking up each book, because there is 17 plus books in the series, but it is like a lot to remember going into each book and like, okay, how are these characters related? Which book were these ones from? And that kind of stuff. So there are a ton of options out there to, if you have questions or you need more information, there's tons of resources out there that have covered this series. So again, like I said, it's a pretty popular one. So the last series that I have to share with y'all today, this is my current favorite series. This is called the Hellbent series by Aurora Asher. This series is currently ongoing. We have a total of 5 books that have been released so far, 4 of those being a full-length book. One of those is a newsletter-only novella. The first book in the series is called My Funny Demon Valentine, and this series is a paranormal romance series that follows a group of demon brothers who have basically escaped from hell because they are tired of being evil for evil's sake. The first book in the series, My Funny Demon Valentine, this one is basically a lust demon who has been cursed to basically be invisible by anyone who would be attracted to him. And so he has basically been withering away for hundreds of years or thousands of years, however long this curse has been on him. And so he and his brothers have escaped from hell, and they're trying to like cheer him up. And one night he finally sees someone who's finally someone sees him and is attracted to him, and the story goes from there. It's fun, there's adventure, but honestly, one of the best parts of the series is the relationship between the brothers and how emotionally constipated they all are. None of them know how to handle their emotions, and it's hysterical when they realize that they're in love with somebody, like how they react. It's so funny. My favorite book in the series is Demon with Benefits. This one is with basically like the jokester character and one of the witches that they've come to interact with, and she hates him. So if you like hate fucking, this is definitely gonna be the book for you. Like, they hate each other but are so attracted to each other, they can't help it. It's so good, highly recommend. And I am so excited for the next book in the series to be coming out sometime in the next year. So that is all that I have for y'all today. I thank you so much for watching my video. Please make sure once you leave my video to go check out the other videos from Beccie and the other contributors. So again, if you haven't already, if you could please subscribe and like or comment. If you don't have any comments that you want to leave for me today, go ahead and leave me a wolf emoji down in the comments. All right, thanks everyone. See you later.